Good evening. Welcome to the August 6th meeting of the Plymouth Community School Board. Welcome. If you'll join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Got a little different program or agenda this evening. Actually, starting with a project hearing. Dan or Candy, or who might turn this over to? Or Jeff? Or
Actually, we can talk about that, but,
I can do it.
okay.
Oh, we need a motion to open.
I do? What? Oh,
I move we open the hearing.
second. I have a motion and a second to open the hearing. Excuse me. We are now in our public hearing.
We're proposing to do a general obligation bond, approximately an amount of $1.425 million. And our new Director of Security, Mr. James Phillips, will be presenting to you what we would propose purchasing with those funds, because we'd like it to be geared towards security and safety for the students. And Jim, I believe you will be out.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Based on the security audit that was conducted for the Plymouth Community School Corporation in February and the subsequent report that was published to the board in March, since I came on board in July of this year, I've completed my own initial review and have identified some immediate needs and some priority needs. Some of the immediate needs are with our transportation system, purchasing and installing the Angel Tracks camera system, a Z-Pass rider notification system for all K through 6th grade students that are in our that use our transportation system, and also a bus checkmate system for all of the drivers to ensure that once the key is taken out of the ignition, that they have to go to the back of the bus and silence an alarm and make sure that we have no students left on a bus because the buses are now parked overnight at Weirs in an industrial park. The proposal for that is $92,500. The second immediate need is for our, I'm sorry.
Explain the Z-Pass.
The Z-Pass system will be a proximity reader card that will be specifically identifying an individual student that is assigned to a particular bus. After we get them registered and talk with the parents and ask them to put the Z-Pass card either in one of their backpacks or attach it to their clothing, once they enter the bus and pass the second step, they will automatically be logged onto that bus. And the Angel Track system marries up with that through GPS. So not only will we have active video, but we'll be GPS tracking the buses, and then we could go out onto the internet and find out which students have been logged onto that bus. And then as they exit the bus and come down past that second step, they'll then be logged off of the bus, and we'll have definitive proof of where they went, what time they got on the bus, and where they exited. And should we have an emergency situation, we'll be able to immediately pull up a bus and tell which students and how many students were on it. The good thing about the Z-Pass system is it has a really great safeguard. Once we identify that student to a particular bus, if a small child gets confused or gets disorganized and tries to enter another bus that has the Z-Pass system, it'll set off an audible alarm that will notify the driver that that child is entering a bus that they're not assigned to.
I have a question on that. Say that you have a nephew or something that wants to ride home with their cousin, but they ride separate buses. What happens then? And all of a sudden, both of them will ride
He has
one
one.
bus.
That's what happens now. He'll just have a note.
Okay.
Just let the driver know.
Okay.
Right.
The problem is, Gary, kids get on a different bus and they ride it someplace and their parents don't know where they are, and then they call and you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
So a 6-year-old at 4:30 and nobody knows where they are, it's pretty scary.
But the bus driver can turn off the alarm if it's. in
He'll
there.
notify the transportation director, who will notify the security and safety department, and we can override that. So,
How long does all that take?
I can do it on an iPad.
Okay. I'm just visioning this alarm going off for.
Right. And the good thing is the current transportation regulations say that if you're going to deviate from the standard transportation program, you have to have an administrator sign a permission slip that's signed by their parents. So if I build that into the notification system, that would come to me and we'd be able to do it on the fly. Looking at our physical structure on our campuses, visitor management and physical security. The one company that I think has kind of stood out amongst all the rest that are available is the Raptor Visitor ID system. As a visitor comes to one of our corporation buildings, they'll have to produce a government-issued ID, whether it be a driver's license, an immigration naturalization service card, something that's issued that would allow this system to read it. So similar to an ATM, you take the driver's license and slide it in, and it will scan the front of that card and create a picture. But while it's doing that, it's also going out on the internet and doing an active database search for criminal offenses against children, registration on any sex offender database, active wants and warrants. And if you're cleared, the system will print an ID. It comes out through a geothermal printer with what we call a sticky badge that has an exact replica of the driver's license on it, and it allows you to put comments. Jim Phillips is here to see Gary Cook in room 101, but that badge will deteriorate, and it's not going to be any good after 6 hours. It will turn completely black, so that way the badge can't be used the next day.
Mission Impossible stuff.
And the proposal on that for all of our buildings corporation-wide is $35,000. The CCTV system corporation-wide, installing updated internet-capable Honeywell system with sufficient coverage at all of our buildings and all of our venues, using Covenant Security as our general contractor and it being installed by Unlimited Technology. The proposal for that is $1,060,900. Some of our priority needs that we've identified is an ID card program. The Plymouth Community Schools uses a third-party contractor. We get badges once a year. I've been here since July 10th and still don't have an ID card that would notify people in buildings that I'm going into. A lot of our new teachers and new hires don't have the immediate availability. We do have a fob system that allows us remote access into all of our buildings, but I think that lacks a little bit in accountability and some safety issues. So the ID card program is actually proximity card that will have our new logo and template on it and will actually be used somewhere down the road for timekeeping and some other issues, and we'll marry that all in with our human resources and business department. The lighting upgrades is $100,000. That's installing new energy efficient LED lighting, wall packs around all of our buildings, and getting away from some of these standalone structures that require maintenance and have to be replaced in just a few years. These lights that you see in the parking lot are anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000. I can do a wall pack on a wall for under $1,000. 3M window film became a very important issue after Sandy Hook. The 3M window film, primarily a 12 millimeter application that's transparent, is shatterproof. It is not bulletproof. It is bullet resistant, but allows enough time, anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes, in order to break through it and actually make entry. So as we harden our target and try to prevent anybody that we don't want having access, the 3M window film will buy us some time to alert appropriate law enforcement authorities. Security and safety operations supplies, as we look at different safety measures and replacements around the facility. $70,000 is what we have budgeted. On the fencing upgrades, I think one of the big things that we've noticed in the security audit, and since I've been here, is there's no clear definition between public property and the property that separates onto the PCSC property. A good example is Riverside School, where they have the new walking trail that goes down there. With our new CCTV system, we want to show beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was clear intent to come onto our property, and what were you doing there by installing fencing that not only allows for our students to realize what a safe area is, but it keeps the elements out that we don't want on our property. Safety in school signage and safe school signage. We do have tobacco is primarily one of the school signages that is up. But it is against Indiana law to bring a firearm or drugs on the school property. It will aid in us creating that culture of this is a school, this is a safe haven. We don't want those kind of things brought on our property. The total for this entire project is $1.425 million.
Thank you, Jim. Are there any questions for Jim? Sure. Larry?
Well, of that amount, and I totally agree that one of the top priorities is the safety of our kids and faculty and staff. And are there grant monies available to offset some of that cost? Or are we gonna generate the money to pay for all
Well, that's what we're talking
That's what
about in
we're-
terms of the bond issue. Yeah.
That's
that?
what
So
we're
the
doing.
bond issue would take care of that?
And the grant that's available is for $50,000.
I remember we talked about the grant at one time, so.
We're gonna apply for the grant too.
Jim, are there, I'm not sure what element I'm thinking of, just for the program, are there ongoing maintenance contracts or maintenance fees or replacement costs that we need to be aware of, or longevity for these items?
Those have already been built into the proposal. So we have some, such as the Raptor ID system has a reoccurring internet fee based on a 3-year contract with them, so that's been built into the proposal.
The company that you talked about for the cameras and that,
Yes, sir.
will they have a technician available if something needs to be, what's the response time in case some of the equipment will break down?
Honeywell International is probably one of the top 3 companies in the corporate security world and for the Department of Homeland Security. Any issues that we have with them, I would say we'll have a 24-hour turnaround.
Yes.
So that project is going to be turnkey. Covenant Security will management, Unlimited Technologies will come in and install and also do the training. We'll have separate head-ins at each of the schools which will collect the information, and it will all be bundled and brought over into our service center at the Security and Safety Office.
Thank you.
Carol, do you have a question?
Now, kind of hear the clip note version of what a CCTV system is.
It's a closed-circuit television system that is a combination of both fixed cameras and dome cameras like you see currently in the high school, but for long range in parking lots and exterior doors and buildings, you have what they call a PTZ camera that has pan, tilt, zoom capability. And it's all internet-based, so we'll be able to monitor it via an iPad or a desktop computer.
Thank you.
Well, I would so move that we move forward with this project.
Before we make a motion, can we, I think we have, that's kind of the project scope, now we're gonna hear about the funding of it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is Bellevue, on bond.
Good.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So now we've heard just what the project is entailing, and so I'm going to discuss the financial details of the proposed bonds, including the proposed repayment and then the taxpayer impact.
Sorry. Oh, that's, it's on the iPads.
Yeah.
Do you have the jumper?
Yeah.
You're my jumper, too. Oh, I have no jumper. You said just give us a second, sorry.
Okay.
Any questions for Bellevue?
So Bellevue, did you drive from Indianapolis up here for this presentation?
Only because I really like you guys.
Through Kokomo.
Through, I know, there's
Construction
so much
zone.
construction right now, yeah. I did drive through, yeah, Kokomo and the north side of Indianapolis, we're also quite a bit of construction there. Yeah, but it'll be nice once it's all done. But
If it ever gets done.
They may run out of money.
that's it, we got it.
There we go.
All right, good. This is the school corporation's existing debt service, and the total debt is going to be repaid in budget year 2022. Your current payments from 2013 to 2018 are about $3.8 million, and then it slightly decreases from 2019 to 2021 to about the $3.4, $3.5 million range. And so when we're looking at structuring these proposed bonds, we're taking advantage of that slight decrease in years 2019 to 2021 to structure the bonds with minimal tax impact. This next slide then shows just the detailed repayment of the school corporation's 3 outstanding bond issues. The next schedule, this shows the combined existing and proposed debt service with the proposed bond issue of $1,425,000. The bonds would be repaid a little over 8 years, and there would be a total interest expense of approximately $239,000. The total incremental increase over your existing payments is about $105,000, which translates to an incremental tax rate change of about 1.2 cents. And you can see that the bonds would then be fully repaid by 2021. And this schedule just shows again, the detail of the payments, and you can see that in 2014 to 2021, the payments would increase from about $3.8 million to $3.9 million. And then finally, the estimated annual incremental impact on taxpayers. We're showing it for various types of property taxpayers. Residential homeowners with a range of $50,000 to $200,000 home values. For a $50,000 home, the incremental impact is $1.23. For a $100,000 home, about $4, and then $12 for a $200,000 home. Per acre of farmland, which is currently assessed at $1,760 per acre, the annual impact would be 22 cents. For 100 acres, then that would be a little under $22. And then finally, for commercial property, we're showing $100,000. This is a multiplier. So if you have a property that's $500,000, these impacts would be 5 times as much. The incremental impact would be $12.30. That's all I have on the financing side. We're anticipating, if the school board chooses to proceed with this project, that we would be looking at a bond sale of mid-September with a closing at the beginning of October. So you have money in hand at the beginning of October. Questions?
Any questions for Bellevue?
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bellevue. Well, we've heard the project summary, we've heard the financing of the project summary. Any before we get into a process of voting, I'm going to abstain from voting with my relationship to Humboldt. That doesn't mean I'm not in support of the project. I will not be voting. Are there any other questions, or?
I would
If not, I'll
still
entertain-
make the same motion. I think safety is without a doubt number one priority.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second discussion.
Well, I think this is something I agree with Larry, you know, you can't put a dollar value on a person's safety, and I think, Jim, you've done an excellent job in getting things prepared. I know that the assessment we had on all of the buildings within the corporation earlier this year has helped as far as letting us know what needs to take place to keep everyone safe as safe can be within the confines of at least our property, our being the Plymouth Community School Corporation. So I think it's an excellent idea, and I support it wholeheartedly.
There being no further discussion, we've had a motion and a second to accept the project and propose financing and move forward. This is a public hearing. Are there any comments or questions from the public? I didn't say from the newspaper, I said from the public.
I'm not even part of your public.
It's like you aren't.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm assuming Mr. Phillips is a miracle worker, so how soon could all of this be implemented and up and running?
He has timelines, like a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month.
Okay.
Here's what he wants to get accomplished here, here's what he wants to get accomplished here. Some of these things, he still has to go out and get multiple quotes.
Sure.
Obviously, I don't remember what we talked about with the CCTV, but may have to do official bidding process on that one, depending on the cost per building. So there's some things that will have to happen to get those done. But I think we're talking about within the first 15 months we'll be able to get most of those things done. Although I'm usually a little more aggressive than what it ends up being. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the public? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I'm going to abstain. Would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are closed. I think we're taking a couple-minute break for technology to